How y'all doing? I'm the Watchman, and this right here is entitled No Longer Was He the Best of God's Creation. Why is the devil jealous of you? No longer was he the best of God's creation. Why is the devil jealous of you? But before we start, I'm going to recap part 4 of the devil's downfall from heaven, the war between two letters. I think this point is very, very crucial. You know what I mean? We can either be two letters in this war, for those who didn't see it. Christ, our King, is a you. He's a you. He's a you because here he was, the Son of God. He was God. He came low, humbled himself as man, and God exalted him to the King of the universe and King of everything. Christ made a you, and here the devil is an I. For here he is, an angel, a created being, not even a God. And he exalted himself. He exalted himself, wanting to be like God. But God brought him back low, straight back down. It's like when you're an eye, there's only so high you can reach up before you hit that wall. And God will bring you right back down. So which letter are you? Which letter are you? Are you a you and an I? And that right there, my friends, is the war between you and I. It's the war between you and I. But anyway, let's get on with it. No longer was he God's best creation. Why the devil is jealous of you. Why the devil is jealous of you. Now, usually, I don't read word for word what I write down and what I prepare. But there's so much that I want to make sure I get in this little short amount of time they give me to record these that I'm going to read it basically off the paper. All right. Let's start right here. Turn in your Bibles with me. Let's go to Revelation 12. Let's go to Revelation 12 first. Revelation 12:12. We're going to read Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that his time is short. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. But I want to go back up in verse 12. It says, woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that his time, but he hath but a short time. Now why is he also come down with great wrath upon man? As we know, he was just kicked out of heaven for being self-righteous, wanting to do his own thing, saying God is too strict and I don't need God's law. But there's another reason why he is full of wrath towards man. He is jealous of you. And he doesn't want you to know that. He doesn't want you to know that. Because then it'll make you special, wouldn't it? Alright, let's keep going. Now, the devil is jealous of man for many reasons. Remember, it was his own beauty that corrupted him. Ezekiel 28. Remember, he was used to having all eyes on him, including his own, That's what he was used to. And people who are used to having all the attention don't like it when something else comes around and takes the attention away. Now let's read Ezekiel 28 verse 15. Now, so we can just see that he was the best of God's creation. Ezekiel 28, and we're going to read verse 15. Verse 15. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created till iniquity was found in thee. He was a perfect creation of God. If all other creations were perfect, there would have been no need for God to specify that Lucifer was perfect. Because it would have been that every creation, if every creation was perfect, there would have been no need to specify that he was perfect. God specified that he was perfect because no other creation at that time was a perfect creation. No other creation. All right. Now the fact and the reality of the matter is that there are several things that man can do that angels can't, and vice versa. Vice versa. Turn in your Bibles with me to Genesis 1:26. Now automatically we can't fly, not now. Soon we'll be able to, but not now. We can't fly. We're not as strong as angels, but there are other things of greater importance that we can do that he can't do. And maybe that's more of the reason why he doesn't want you to know about these things or even stress them. They're not stressed in churches nowadays. Because if you actually knew what you were capable of and what you had at your disposal, wow. Let's get right into it. Let's go to Genesis 1:26. And we're going to start at 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. All right, first off, I want to say that, let's stick this right here. First off, I want to say, man was made in God's image and likeness. We only use a quarter of our brains. We don't know what we are really capable of spiritually and physically. We have allowed the devil through TV and movies and school to dumb us down on who we actually are. The devil has us thinking that we are on the bottom of the totem pole as far as God's creation goes. Now think about it. When evolution teach you that you come from a monkey or ape, an animal, subliminally, that is the devil telling you that you are Lord and a beast on the field. You know, you got to be Lord and a beast on the field. And subliminally, that had you thinking like, wow, I'm on the bottom of the totem pole of all the creations that God has created. When really God said man was made in his image, in the image of God. Wow. Let me rewind right here real quick. But the truth of the matter is, in the universe, we are a creation that can boast. We are created in the image of God. The devil has also dumbed us down also through schools, through the theory of evolution. Think about it. Like I said before, coming from a small brain ape or being created in the image of the greatest being in our universe is a big difference. Now think about it. If you know that you either came from a small brain ape or who created the whole universe, do you see the difference in that is as far as the subliminal power that you would even tell yourself, that or would even be given to you, you know, that hey, you know, I am made in the image of the creator, Here, what image were the angels made in? For they were just angels. We're the only creation in God's universe that can boast. We are made in the image of the creator. That we are made in the image of the creator. 2. God gave man dominion over the whole earth, air, and sea. Where do angels have dominion? When we read in Revelation 12:13, it stated that the devil and his angels were cast to earth. But that means they can't leave earth. And what we read in Genesis 1:26 states that man has dominion over the earth. Then they have dominion nowhere. In movies and TV, it shows like the devil be running things. But when you really look at it, we're giving away our power when we don't recognize and remember what God has given us and whose image we're created in. The devil and his angels were cast to earth. They were cast to a place where man has dominion. We just read in Genesis 1:26 in the verse 26 where it says, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth. We have dominion. Angels have dominion over nowhere. The angels in heaven, do they have dominion in heaven? No, that's God's house. That's God's house. So really, when you look at it, angels have dominion nowhere. Nowhere. Third, in Genesis 1:28, God says, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. This is one of the commands that he gives to man. He says, be fruitful and multiply in verse 28. Replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish, the air, the fowl, and every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Now, angels. Can angels replenish their species? No. No. If God only made 30,000 angels, that's how many angels there are. They cannot procreate. They cannot make love and have another child, another little baby angel. They can't do that. You know, no more, no less until judgment. Angels have no gender. They are neither male nor female. That is why the devil has. Now, they are jealous of this act. That is why the devil has corrupted the bond of marriage and union between male and female. What I mean by corrupted, what is supposed to be a sacred union between two beings becoming one soul has been debased to what we now call casual sex. Because the angels can never know this bond or union, the devil has made it into an everyday act with no true purpose but to satisfy self. Remember, he believes in self-righteousness. That's the code that he lives by. Now I want to say that again. Because the angels can never know this bond or union between male and female, they can never know it. The devil has made it an everyday act with no true purpose but to satisfy self. Only look at the relationship between casual and the word usual. When you say casual, do you know that casual and usual, we say casual sex. Well, what do we think when we say usual? And when something's usual, that means it's every day, it's common. He has made sex every day in common. For casual is a derivative of the word usual. Usual. And what we call it casual sex, usual sex, it has become common to us. The devil has got us to take away the sacredness out of that bond, out of that union, you know. It's all right in our day and time to meet someone, sleep together, and never speak again unless you want to sleep again with that person. This was done so we as humans wouldn't know the sacredness of the very act that the very act carries. This was done so we as humans wouldn't know the sacredness the very act of making love carries. If we were as the angels and couldn't be married and make children, then we would easily see the great gift God has given man in being able to have a family. Now remember, the word casual is a derivative of the word usual. And usual means something common, something everyday. And that is what we have made sex to be. Just by even calling it sex, that is what we have made it to be. Well, that is what the devil has made it to be. So we wouldn't see the true bond and the true sacredness of becoming one soul. God says when a man and a woman lie together, they become one. They become one. And a little bit of your spirit goes to that person. That's why he said only do it to somebody you are married with. Now I wanna repeat this one part I wrote one more time. If we were as the angels and couldn't be married and make children, then we would easily see the great gift God has given man in being able to have a family. And of course, right now we can't fly and be strong as angels, but when we're in heaven, there's no limits or bonds to what we'll be able to do, and making us truly sons and daughters of God, creatures set apart in all of God's universe. It is up to us to remember who we are. Wow. When you look at it, once we get to heaven and we'll be able to fly, have the strength and power of many men, God calls us through Jesus Christ's sacrifice upon the cross, through his precious blood, we have become heirs of salvation. We have become sons and daughters of God. No other creation or creature can boast of this fact but man. And the devil, when he got envious of Jesus because he wanted to be in the creation of man. And God said, no, you cannot be involved in the creation of man. That's why the devil cannot read your mind. All he can do is try to manipulate your mind. He cannot read it. And once he saw what God was doing with man, he became jealous and envious because he knew there is no creature like man. But he wants you through evolution to think you're nothing. He wants to dull you down in every instance. Remember who you are.